A journey into Indiana's shadows. Nestled in the heart of the Midwest, Indiana is often celebrated for its rolling cornfields, charming small towns, and vibrant cultural heritage. Yet beneath its picturesque surface lies a darker, more enigmatic side, a realm where history collides with the supernatural, and whispers of the past echo through shadowed corridors. Welcome to Tales from the Wabash, your gateway into the chilling unknown. This channel isn't just about telling ghost stories. It's an invitation to step into the eerie corners of our world, where the line between reality and nightmare blurs, and the unexplained becomes undeniable. In this episode, we turn our gaze toward one of America's most haunted states, Indiana. Known as the Crossroads of America, Indiana has long been a meeting point, not only for travelers but also for legends, mysteries, and the paranormal. From abandoned asylums that whisper secrets of suffering to historic theaters alive with spectral applause, Indiana's haunted places are steeped in tragedy, resilience, and the inexplicable. These sites are not merely remnants of the past but portals to another realm, where restless spirits linger and unseen forces beckon those brave enough to listen. Indiana's unique blend of rural charm and industrial history makes it fertile ground for tales of hauntings and unexplained phenomena. Its dense forests, sprawling farmlands, and aging urban centers harbor countless stories of ghostly apparitions, chilling encounters, and eerie occurrences that defy logic. Whether it's the mournful cries of a mother searching for her lost child or the phantom footsteps of soldiers marching through empty halls, these legends have been passed down through generations, growing richer and more terrifying. With each retelling. As we embark on this spine-tingling exploration of Indiana's most haunted places, prepare yourself for a descent into darkness. We'll uncover ghostly legends rooted in historical events, investigate documented sightings that challenge belief, and unravel the tragic tales that gave rise to these spectral echoes. Along the way, you'll encounter locations so steeped in supernatural lore that they've become magnets for paranormal investigators, thrill seekers, and skeptics alike. Whether you're a seasoned seeker of the supernatural or someone simply curious about the mysteries lurking beyond the veil, this journey promises to leave you breathless, and perhaps a little unsettled. So grab your flashlight, steel your nerves, and join us as we venture into the shadowy realms of Indiana's haunted history. What awaits may challenge everything you believe, or reveal truths too terrifying to ignore. Let the storytelling begin. The ghosts of West Baden Springs Hotel, echoes of opulence and tragedy nestled in the lush hills of southern Indiana. The West Baden Springs Hotel stands as a haunting testament to the fleeting nature of wealth and prosperity. Once hailed as the eighth wonder of the world, this architectural marvel was renowned for its massive domed atrium, the largest free-span dome in the world at the time of its completion in 1902. Beneath its grandeur, however, lies a tapestry of tragedy and spectral intrigue that has made it one of Indiana's most haunted locations. Today, visitors to the hotel are greeted not only by its opulent design but also by the lingering presence of those who once walked its halls and never truly left. The hotel's haunted reputation is deeply intertwined with its storied past. Built by Llewellyn Sinclair, a visionary entrepreneur who sought to create a luxurious retreat centered around the purported healing powers of the local mineral springs, the West Baden Springs Hotel quickly became a playground for the wealthy elite. Millionaires, politicians, and celebrities flocked to its lavish suites, indulging in spa treatments, fine dining, and high-stakes gambling. But beneath the glittering facade lay a darker undercurrent. The hotel's casino attracted unsavory characters, and whispers of scandal and debauchery swirled through its corridors. When Prohibition forced the closure of the casino in 1917, the hotel's fortunes began to wane, setting the stage for a series of misfortunes that would haunt it for decades to come. One of the most enduring legends surrounding the hotel is that of Thomas Taggart, a former owner whose spirit is said to still roam the premises. Taggart, a prominent businessman and politician, purchased the property in 1906 and invested heavily in its expansion and modernization. However, his ambitious plans were cut short when he died unexpectedly in 1929. Staff and guests alike report seeing a distinguished-looking man in a three-piece suit wandering the lobby and mezzanine levels, his expression somber, as though burdened by unfinished business. Some claim to have heard faint footsteps echoing across the marble floors late at night, accompanied by the sound of rustling papers, as if Taggart is still overseeing operations from beyond the grave. Equally chilling are the accounts tied to room 428, a suite infamous among paranormal investigators. Guests staying in this room have reported a range of unsettling experiences, from sudden drops in temperature to the sensation of being watched. One particularly harrowing story involves a couple who checked in for a romantic getaway, only to be awoken in the middle of the night by the feeling of invisible hands tugging at their bedcovers. When they switched on the light, they discovered deep scratches etched into the wooden headboard, resembling claw marks. Others describe hearing faint sobbing emanating from the walls, as though the room itself harbors a profound sorrow. Local lore suggests that the spirit of a woman who took her own life in the room during the Great Depression remains trapped there, unable to find peace. The hotel's grand atrium, with its soaring dome and intricate frescoes, is another hotspot for paranormal activity. Visitors have captured photographs showing shadowy figures standing near the balcony railings, their forms dissolving into mist when approached. Performers on the stage below often recount strange occurrences during rehearsals and events, such as instruments playing themselves or spotlights moving without explanation. Some believe these manifestations are linked to the hotel's days as a performance venue, where actors and musicians once dazzled audiences before financial ruin silenced their applause forever. Adding to the hotel's haunted legacy is the tragic fate of many of its employees and guests. During the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918, the hotel served as a makeshift hospital, housing hundreds of sick patients. Many succumbed to the illness, their bodies hastily buried in unmarked graves nearby. Employees who worked during this grim period claimed to hear anguished cries and moans coming from empty rooms long after the crisis had passed. To this day, some staff members refuse to work alone in certain areas of the building, citing feelings of unease and the overwhelming sense of being followed. The haunting of the Indiana Theater. While the West Baden Springs Hotel may boast its share of spectral residents, few places in Indiana rival the eerie allure of the Indiana Theater in Terre Haute. This historic venue, first opened in 1922, has long been a cornerstone of the city's cultural landscape, hosting everything from vaudeville performances to silent films and live concerts. Yet behind its gilded marquee and ornate interior lies a darker narrative, one of tragedy, betrayal, and restless spirits that continue to haunt its storied halls. Known affectionately as the Jewel of the Wabash, the Indiana Theater is anything but a relic of the past. It is a living monument to the unexplained, where the curtain never truly falls and the show always goes on, whether the audience is ready or not. The theater's haunted reputation is rooted in its early years, a time when the entertainment industry was rife with glamour and grit in equal measure. In 1933, a young actress named Evelyn Pierce joined the cast of a touring production staged at the Indiana Theater. Described as vivacious and talented, Evelyn quickly became a favorite among both her peers and the audience. Her star seemed destined to rise, until a mysterious accident cut her career tragically short. According to local legend, Evelyn fell from the catwalk above the stage during a rehearsal, sustaining fatal injuries. Some say she tripped over loose cables, while others whisper of foul play, suggesting a jealous rival sabotaged her safety harness. Whatever the truth, Evelyn's death cast a pall over the theater, and her memory lingers to this day. Visitors and staff alike report encountering Evelyn's ghost, whose presence is often felt backstage and in the dressing rooms. Actors preparing for performances have described seeing a young woman in a vintage flapper dress reflected in their mirrors, only for her image to vanish when they turn around. Others claim to feel a cold breeze brushing against their necks, accompanied by the faint scent of perfume, an olfactory signature attributed to Evelyn. Most unsettling are the reports of disembodied singing, a soft, melancholic melody drifting through the corridors during late-night rehearsals. Those who have heard it describe it as achingly beautiful, yet tinged with sadness, as if Evelyn's voice carries the weight of her untimely demise. Beyond Evelyn's haunting presence, the theater is home to other spectral inhabitants. Among them is the ghost of a janitor named Harold Griggs, who worked at the venue during the 1950s. Known for his meticulous attention to detail and gruff demeanor, Harold took immense pride in maintaining the theater's pristine condition. After his sudden death from a heart attack while cleaning the basement, rumors began to circulate that his spirit refused to leave the building. Perhaps the most spine-chilling aspect of the Indiana Theater's haunted legacy lies in its subterranean depths. Beneath the main auditorium lies a labyrinth of tunnels and storage rooms, remnants of the building's original design. These underground passages, largely in use today, are said to be teeming with supernatural activity. Employees tasked with retrieving props or equipment have reported hearing footsteps echoing through the narrow corridors, though no one else is around. Others describe seeing shadowy figures darting between the dimly lit alcoves, their movements too quick to follow. Some believe these apparitions belong to former performers and crew members who met unfortunate ends during the theater's heyday, their spirits bound to the place where they spent their final moments. Adding to the lore is the infamous Red Door, located at the end of one of the basement hallways. Painted a deep crimson, the door leads to a small, windowless room rumored to have been used for clandestine meetings during Prohibition. Over the years, numerous staff members have recounted strange experiences associated with the Red Door. Some claim to hear muffled voices emanating from behind it, despite the room being empty. Others report feeling an overwhelming sense of dread when standing near the door, as though malevolent forces guard whatever lies within. Attempts to open it have proven futile. The door remains stubbornly locked, its secrets sealed away for reasons unknown. A town shrouded in mystery deep within the rolling hills of Brown County lies Story, a village whose name conjures images of quaint Americana and pastoral charm. Yet beneath its idyllic exterior lies a tale far darker and more sinister, a story of abandonment, isolation, and spectral unrest that has earned it a place among Indiana's most haunted locales. Once a thriving community built around a bustling sawmill, Story now stands as a ghost town frozen in time, its weathered structures whispering secrets of lives lived and lost. To step into Story is to enter a realm where the past refuses to release its grip, and the line between reality and nightmare grows perilously thin. Story's decline began in the mid-20th century, when economic shifts and dwindling resources forced its residents to seek livelihoods elsewhere. By the 1970s, the town had all but vanished, leaving behind empty homes, shuttered businesses, and a palpable sense of desolation. Yet what truly sets Story apart from other abandoned settlements is the eerie aura that hangs over the village like a shroud. Visitors who wander its overgrown streets often describe feeling an oppressive heaviness in the air, as though the land itself mourns those who once called it home. Whispers of curses and restless spirits abound, fueling a reputation that draws thrill-seekers and skeptics alike. One of the most chilling aspects of Story's haunted legacy is the recurring appearance of shadowy figures. Locals and explorers alike recount sightings of spectral forms darting between the trees or standing silently in doorways, their features obscured by darkness. Some claim these apparitions resemble former residents, clad in outdated clothing and staring blankly ahead as if caught in a perpetual loop of their final days. Others describe more malevolent entities, tall, faceless figures that seem to stalk intruders, their movements unnaturally fluid and deliberate. These manifestations are often accompanied by unexplained noises, the creak of floorboards in empty houses, the distant clanging of metal, and the faint sound of children laughing, though no one is around. The old sawmill, once the beating heart of Story's economy, is said to be a particular hotspot of paranormal activity. Workers who dismantled parts of the mill in the years following its closure spoke of hearing disembodied voices calling out names, as well as the rhythmic thud of machinery operating on its own. More disturbing are the reports of shadowy silhouettes visible in the windows of the mill at night, their movements mimicking the actions of laborers long gone. Some believe these spirits are bound to the site due to tragic accidents that occurred during the mill's operation, while others suggest they represent the collective grief of a community torn apart by hardship. Another focal point of Story's haunting is the village cemetery, nestled on a hill overlooking the town. Though small and unassuming, the graveyard exudes an unsettling energy that leaves visitors uneasy. Graves marked with weathered headstones bear names unfamiliar to modern generations, yet their occupants seem unwilling to rest. Witnesses describe seeing orbs of light hovering above the tombstones, flickering like candle flames before vanishing into the night. Others claim to hear faint sobbing emanating from the cemetery, as though the dead are mourning their forgotten lives. On occasion, the silhouette of a woman in a flowing dress has been spotted wandering among the graves, her face obscured by a veil. Local legend ties her presence to a love affair gone tragically wrong, though details remain scarce. Adding to the mystery is the phenomenon known as the Whispering Woods. Surrounding story, this dense forest is said to emit low, unintelligible murmurs that grow louder as one ventures deeper inside. Hikers and campers have reported feeling as though they are being followed, their senses heightened by the oppressive silence broken only by the eerie whispers. Some describe hearing snippets of conversation in languages they cannot understand, while others swear they hear their own names called softly, coaxing them further into the wilderness. Few dare to linger long enough to investigate, as the forest seems to twist and shift, disorienting even the most experienced outdoorsman. Indianapolis, restless, dead among Indiana's most hallowed grounds, Crown Hill Cemetery stands as both a sanctuary for the departed and a nexus of spectral activity. Established in 1863, this sprawling necropolis spans 555 acres and serves as the final resting place for over 200,000 individuals, including notable figures such as President Benjamin Harrison and poet James Whitcomb Riley. Yet beyond its stately monuments and meticulously manicured landscapes lies a darker dimension, one where the dead refuse to remain silent. Crown Hill is not merely a cemetery. It is a realm where history and the supernatural converge, creating an environment ripe with eerie encounters and unexplained phenomena. The cemetery's haunted reputation is deeply intertwined with its storied past. During the Civil War, Crown Hill became the burial site for Union soldiers, many of whom perished far from home in battles that tore the nation apart. Their graves, marked by simple white stones, form a somber section known as the National Cemetery. Visitors to this area often report an overwhelming sense of sorrow, as though the anguish of war still lingers in the air. Some claim to hear faint echoes of battle cries and the rhythmic march of boots, while others describe seeing shadowy figures dressed in tattered uniforms standing silently amidst the rows of headstones. These apparitions are believed to be the spirits of soldiers unable to find peace, their eternal vigil a testament to the sacrifices made during one of America's bloodiest conflicts. One of the most enduring legends tied to Crown Hill revolves around the mausoleum of the Butler family, a prominent Indianapolis clan whose influence stretched across politics and philanthropy. Constructed in the late 19th century, the mausoleum is an imposing structure of granite and marble, its heavy doors designed to seal the deceased within. Yet according to local lore, the Butler crypt harbors a secret far more sinister. Late-night visitors have reported hearing muffled screams emanating from inside the mausoleum, despite it being securely locked. Others describe seeing the ghostly figure of a woman in Victorian attire pacing outside the entrance, her face contorted in anguish. Some speculate that the spirit belongs to a family member entombed alive due to a tragic misdiagnosis, her cries echoing through eternity as a warning to those who disturb her rest. Equally unsettling are the tales surrounding the Pioneer Cemetery, a smaller section within Crown Hill dedicated to early settlers and pioneers of Indiana. This area, marked by weathered stones and moss-covered markers, exudes an aura of profound stillness that borders on foreboding. Visitors recount feeling an inexplicable chill as they approach, even on warm summer evenings. Shadows seem to move between the graves, shifting erratically despite the absence of wind. One particularly chilling account comes from a group of teenagers who ventured into the Pioneer Cemetery after dark. They described hearing faint whispers calling their names, the voices growing louder and more insistent until they fled in terror. Some believe these whispers belonged to the pioneers themselves, urging the living to remember their contributions, or perhaps warning them to stay away. Crown Hill's spectral activity extends beyond individual graves and monuments to encompass the entire landscape. The Gothic archway at the cemetery's main entrance, a striking architectural feature carved from limestone, is said to be a hotspot for paranormal encounters. Drivers passing beneath the arch late at night have reported seeing a translucent figure standing atop the structure, its arms outstretched as though beckoning them to enter. Others claim to feel their vehicles slow involuntarily as they approach, as if an unseen force resists their passage. Local superstition holds that those who disrespect the cemetery's sanctity risk invoking its wrath, with stories of cars breaking down or experiencing mechanical failures shortly after crossing the threshold. The unyielding chill of Central State Hospital, a haunted haven. Few places in Indiana evoke as much dread and fascination as Central State Hospital, a sprawling psychiatric facility in Indianapolis that operated from 1848 until its closure in 1994. Once a beacon of hope for those seeking treatment for mental illness, the hospital eventually became synonymous with neglect, abuse, and unspeakable horrors. Today, its decaying wards and labyrinthine corridors stand as a testament to the darker chapters of medical history, and a magnet for those drawn to the supernatural. Central State Hospital is not merely abandoned, it is alive with the echoes of its past, a place where the boundary between the living and the dead feels tantalizingly thin. The hospital's haunted reputation is deeply rooted in its tumultuous history. Originally established as the Indiana Hospital for the Insane, Central State was intended to provide humane care for patients suffering from mental illnesses. However, overcrowding, underfunding, and unethical practices soon transformed it into a house of horrors. Reports of patient abuse, experimental treatments, and deplorable living conditions became commonplace, culminating in scandals that shocked the nation. One particularly infamous incident involved the use of hydrotherapy, a brutal procedure in which patients were submerged in ice-cold water for extended periods, allegedly to calm their agitation. Survivors of such treatments often described feeling as though their very souls had been stripped away, leaving behind hollow shells of their former selves. Decades later, the spirits of these victims are said to linger within the hospital's crumbling walls. Visitors and paranormal investigators alike recount chilling encounters in the old hydrotherapy rooms, where the air is said to grow frosty despite the lack of ventilation. Some claim to hear faint splashing sounds and desperate cries for help, as though the tormented souls of patients are reliving their final moments of suffering. Others describe seeing shadowy figures writhing on the floor, their forms dissolving into mist when approached. These manifestations are often accompanied by an overwhelming sense of dread, as if the room itself is imbued with the collective anguish of those who endured unimaginable torment. Another focal point of Central State's haunting is the surgical ward, where invasive procedures and lobotomies were performed with reckless abandon. Patients subjected to these surgeries often emerged permanently disabled or catatonic, their minds irreparably altered. Today, the ward is said to be a hotspot for paranormal activity. Explorers who brave its confines report hearing the faint hum of medical equipment and the metallic clink of surgical instruments, though no machinery remains intact. Some claim to see ghostly surgeons and blood-stained scrubs hovering over phantom operating tables, their movements precise yet devoid of humanity. Others describe feeling sharp, searing pains in their heads or chests, as though the spirits of former patients are attempting to communicate their agony through touch. The hospital's labyrinthine tunnels, used to transport patients and supplies between buildings, are equally notorious for their spectral activity. Stretching for miles beneath the surface, these underground passageways are pitch black and suffocating, amplifying the sense of isolation and fear. Those who venture into the tunnels often report hearing footsteps echoing behind them, though no one else is present. Faint whispers drift through the stale air, speaking in languages unfamiliar yet oddly compelling. Some have captured photographs showing glowing orbs floating in the darkness, their light casting eerie shadows on the damp walls. Local legend suggests that these tunnels serve as conduits for the restless spirits of patients who died alone, their voices carried endlessly through the subterranean maze. Perhaps the most harrowing aspect of Central State's haunted legacy lies in its crematorium, a grim reminder of the hospital's disregard for human dignity. In the mid-20th century, it was revealed that thousands of patient remains had been improperly disposed of, either incinerated or buried in unmarked graves. The discovery sparked outrage and condemnation, but for many, the damage had already been done. Today, the crematorium is said to be one of the most active areas of paranormal activity on the property. Visitors report feeling an oppressive heat radiating from the ovens, despite them being cold and rusted. Others describe hearing the faint crackle of flames and the sound of doors slamming shut on their own, as though the spirits of the departed are trying to escape their fiery fate. What sets Central State Hospital apart from other haunted locations is the sheer intensity and consistency of its paranormal phenomena. From ghostly apparitions and disembodied voices to inexplicable physical sensations and poltergeist-like activity, the hospital seems alive with the energy of those who suffered within its walls. For those brave enough to explore its decaying halls, the experience is often one of profound unease, a visceral confrontation with the darkest aspects of human history, and the lingering presence of those who refuse to let go of the pain they endured. As the wind whistles through shattered windows and shadows dance across peeling wallpaper, one cannot help but wonder, are these ghosts mere echoes of the past, or do they serve as guardians of a truth too horrifying to forget? The enduring allure of Indiana's haunted legacy. As we draw this chilling journey to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: Indiana is far more than a land of cornfields and small-town charm. Beneath its serene surface lies a labyrinth of haunted histories, spectral legends, and unexplained phenomena that continue to captivate and terrify in equal measure. From the grand halls of the West Baden Springs Hotel to the shadowy corridors of Central State Hospital, and from the eerie echoes of stories' forgotten streets to the spectral whispers of Crown Hill Cemetery, each location we've explored tells a story of lives lived, lost, and lingering. These tales are not merely relics of the past but living, breathing entities that refuse to fade into obscurity, reminding us that the boundaries between the natural and supernatural are far more porous than we might care to admit. What makes Indiana's haunted places so uniquely compelling is their ability to evoke a profound sense of awe and vulnerability. In a world increasingly dominated by technology and urban sprawl, these sites offer a rare glimpse into the raw, untamed essence of human existence, a reminder of our fragility in the face of time's relentless march and tragedy's indelible mark. They challenge us to confront the unknown, to question the limits of our understanding, and to acknowledge the shadows that linger just beyond the edges of our perception. Whether you're a believer in the paranormal or a steadfast skeptic, there's an undeniable power in these stories, one that resonates on a deeply human level. For those who have joined us on this journey, we hope you've found inspiration in the mysteries we've uncovered. Perhaps you've felt the icy grip of fear as you imagined the spectral miners of Kennecott Mines or the anguished spirits of Nome. Maybe the cursed whispers of Portlock sent a shiver down your spine, or the haunting allure of Cold Storage's cannery sparked your curiosity. Wherever your imagination has wandered, we invite you to take the next step, engage with these stories, share them with others, and keep the spirit of exploration alive. And remember, the frostbitten landscapes of Alaska hold countless secrets yet to be unearthed. If you've been moved by what you've read, if you crave more tales of the macabre and the mysterious, we encourage you to subscribe to Tales from the Frost. By joining our community, you'll gain access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and future expeditions into the darkest corners of the world. Together, we can continue to peel back the layers of the unknown, shining a light, or perhaps a lantern, into the shadows that beckon us forward. Thank you for accompanying us on this spine-tingling odyssey. Until next time, may your nights be filled with wonder, your days with discovery, and your courage unwavering as you tread the fine line between reality and the supernatural. Stay frosty, dear reader, and never stop seeking the stories that lie just beyond the veil.